and gentlemen of the press, you all are welcome to this press briefing. A call for the immediate sack of Architect Sonny Echono as the Executive Secretary of Education Trust Fund and notice of a mass protest against the TETFund bus. In case of failure or delay in relieving him for an unresolved allegation of monumental corruption and sabotage of the nation, vision of the excellence in the education sector, and we have no choice, and we have written to Mr. President before now, and we have made a publication before now. Those monumental fraud in TETFund, they are so alarming, and based on this, we are calling on Mr. President to relieve the Executive Secretary with immediate effect. Be the press conference by Empowerment for Unemployed Youth Initiative in Abuja, July 12, 2024. Recall that Empowerment for Unemployed Youth Initiative led a coalition of civil society groups for national interest on a sanitary mission in the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, on the June 20th, 2024, when in a press conference, we requested the sack of Architect Sonny Echono as the Executive Secretary of the fund. We stated the reasons and highlighted some of the unresolved roots therein in the TETFund. We, however, carefully did not attach any consequence to the failure to act by Mr. President. It was our belief that with the ambition of Mr. President in the education sector, he will act firmly if the message gets his attention. But it is now obvious that he is not aware, and so we will make him be aware of the situation. The National Assembly, the Ministry of Education, and indeed all those interested in the education sector to be fully aware of the riots going on in TETFund. Consequently, last week we formally wrote to Mr. President through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, requesting the immediate sack of Architect Sonny Echono. And we warn in the letter that the consequence of hesitation or delay, refusal to sack him, will be greeted with a mass protest, which was supposed to commence since Wednesday, July 10, 2024. But we were prevailed on to allow a little more time for the president to act, citing that an action by a group with heavy mass base like ours is capable of heightening the tension in the country, particularly in Abuja. We must make it very clear that we have acted with all patriotic consideration, and it will equally become all patriotic if we allow public officers entrusted with very sensitive national assignment to mess the institution and get away with it. We therefore wish to use this medium to reassure our allies that there is no compromise whatsoever, and the retreat is mere for grace of weak, and we must emphasize here that the protest we are organizing in case of the failure to sack Architect Sonny Echono is a very peaceful one. Those who are suggesting the chaos scenario he's taking too far. There will not be such. And let us not allow our agencies to become rotten because we wish to avoid the road to Kenya. Let us inform the public once again what some of our northern issues are. They are summoned in the fact that Sonny Echono is alleged to have, he feels that he cannot be held to account for his wrongdoings, but he will be made to account for everything he has done in TETFund. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, which acts as the highest bridge to infrastructure and human capacity deficit in the tertiary institution, is an unending crisis caused by an alleged massive, passive, and academic corruption, as well as undue politicization of activities and programs. While the executive secretary of the fund, architect Sonny Echono, continue to run from pillar to pole to cover his ever-leaky tracks, he still faces questions with the anti-graft agencies. Three months ago, in April 2024, he was shamefully arguing back and forth as to whether he was detained by the ICPC, and he was insisted that he was not detained. And the truth is that he was detained by ICPC. He is facing saving efforts denied. However, he could not claim that he has a clean bill of health from the either EFCC or ICPC. And we are supporting ICPC and EFCC to do a due diligence job on this particular issue. Enough is enough. This idea of inviting him today, delaying him and detaining him and allowing him to go, they should do the needful. The laws are very clear about it. It is even strange that our righteous National Assembly was unable to find faults in the several cases of breach of Public Procurement Act 2007. Even in the clear case of the epic award of 7.6 billion naira contract to a FIDE El Rasho Academy and a Pope Global Marketing PGM, which was done without recourse to the Bureau of Public Procurement or Federal Executive Council. It may just be that due to the case of politicization and hijack of the fund by the politicians, the interests of the national legislature were met. And we as civil society, we are surprised for the National Assembly to have made an attempt to give him a clean bill of health with all these rot allegations hanging on the TETFund boss. Therefore, no serious oversight can be expected. Such interest is sadly a brutal betrayal of a national interest and the sabotage of our national economy. But we as civil society hold this country a patriotic duty to ensure that important institution is quickly cleaned up to perform its objects optimally. It will be a generational injustice for us to watch TETFund reduced to an institution of contract racketeering and promotion of mediocrity due to political interest. For instance, in the 7.6 billion naira contract under the reference, there is no lot of lies contradictions, and institutional cover-up in the spite of the effort to kill the matter. It remains alive because that flagrant rape of the Public Procurement Act of 2007 at such magnitude is something the media and the civil society cannot simply allow to go without sufficient explanation. And we will keep agitating, and he must explain, and the best is Mr. President to relieve him of his duty. So let him face the necessary route. The Executive Secretary of TETFund, Architect Sonny, claimed that the illegal deduction of 50% of 2023 direct disbursement budget to institution was on agreement with those institutions. Since none of those institutions have come out publicly to complain, we accept that. What is, however, inexplicable is how a whooping sum of 7.6 billion naira can be awarded without transparent bidding, or in this case, no bidding at all. No recourse to the Bureau of Public Procurement, and no approval sought or received from the Federal Executive Council. Architect Sonny Echono lied when he claimed that the reason for the absence of competitive bidding is because the ICT service being provided is exclusive to those services providers. He contradicted himself when he claimed that there was an initial bidding involving vendors, but they later decided to approach the services provision source in order to get a better discount. He therefore suggests that we should perhaps give him a national honor for getting a discount in a secretly processed contracts. Echono may have concluded that having shut up those who should hold him to account, the rest of Nigerians are daft. The question that he should ask is who and what are FIDE, Ed Ratio Academy, APO Global Marketing, PGM, are they direct services provider or vendor? We will help him answer. They are vendor. At the end of the day, where is therefore the exclusivity? Many companies locally and internationally that can provide ICT training of any scale and depth. Again, what is the nature of this contract? Exclude them from Section 50A of the Public Procurement Act 2007. The whole truth is that this contract is a gross violation of the law, and the intent therefrom suggests a massive underhand dealing as part of the alleged pervasive corruption in TETFund. It is also alleged that the Federal University of Health Science Otukpo has been turned to Echono's cash cow or cocoyam bar, from where he directs and causes the execution of contract through process. And if there are obvious personal interests in contract awards, inflation of contract, some and inevitable, we insist that for Mr. President to get his vision in education right, characters like Architect Sonny Echono should be far away from the management of the educational sector. He should be sacked. Yes, we will ensure that due attention is brought to his activities. Whether the protests will we spiral beyond our intention. It is for the government to decide, because we will hold that protest as long as it is necessary, and nothing will stop us. The only thing that will stop us is SAT. We wish to state that enough is indeed enough. Thank you. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Let me first say that our contention with the National Assembly is that I think the argument is clear. When these allegations came about, the award of contracts to the magnitude 2 contracts, 7.6 billion, so about 15.2 billion contracts, without passing through the due process. We are wondering why the National Assembly, in all their sense, this is where we have most of the very educated Nigerians. Most of them are accountants, most of them are auditors, and then somebody just goes there and tell them that yes, those are the fact he admitted that there was a breach of the Public Procurement Act because there was no bidding, there was no reference to BPE, there was none to the Federal Executive Council, but they allow him go because he said those services have exclusivity. And we are saying that at the end of the day, FIDE's Ratio Academy and the Poor Global Marketing are not even they are not service providers. They are not exclusive service providers because they participated in the bidding of the vendors. So this is something simple for somebody to know. It's too elementary. So why he gave that explanation and National Assembly appeared to have given clean bill of health is something that we must interrogate. We must interrogate, because there is nothing in this contract that I have said. There are places, there are certain services that the Section 15A of the Public Procurement Act, which was read here, excluded from passing through this thing. We want to know what in this contract is in that 15A, because the thing which is ICT training, there are many companies in this country that can do that. What is so exclusive in it that it must be done without bidding? This is pure sheer fraud. And what we are saying is that it has not been explained. And let us even say that one, okay, you can imagine where an executive secretary of TETFund is saying, ICPC say, we detained you. You say, no, we didn't detain you. We say, no, we detained you. You say, we didn't detain you. And up to today, still answering questions from the anti-graft agent. We can't just pretend that nothing is going on. The way about talking about evidence, first, I disagree with you that this matter happened under the last executive secretary. It happened fully under him. In fact, he has accepted responsibility. What he's doing is giving explanations that cannot explain anything. Those explanations is just what he tells people, and then suddenly everybody appear, or many people appear. And I'm sure that these are some of the answers he gave ICPC that ICPC refused, which is why they are still on the matter. And then they can't be on that matter forever. There are a lot of funds going to TETFund, and what is meant for is so important that we cannot fold our arms and then watch that happen. So that is for the evidence. About the institution, being he is the person behind the person running it. We know about influence. There's nothing wrong that you can influence somebody to be a head of institution, but allow the place to run. Allow the place to run. The allegations that we have is that he controls who does contract there, who does anything through his proxies and allies. So he can come and prove to the contrary. And we can also, face him on a debate to investigate the procurement processes of that institution and those who are behind what in the contract there. These are clear things. There are none of them that he has answered. He just feels that anything he tells Nigerians should be taken, and because many people go there to collect contracts, it appears that there's a compromise. Thank you. Thank you very much.